Welcome to the NVUSD Future in Focus podcast. It is important to have a focused roadmap.
Because with 26 schools, there's a lot that could be going on.
But we do promise that we're holding ourselves accountable to monitoring our impact.
Because we don't want to wait until the California dashboard comes out with a number.
That we're achieving the goals outlined in this very ambitious strategic plan. Today, we're diving into the very heart of NVUSD's vision, our 5-year strategic plan. This document is far more than just a blueprint. It's the living guide that shapes every decision we make, every program we implement, and every interaction within our district.
That's right, Rosanna. And in this episode, we'll unpack what the strategic plan is, how it directly influences our daily operations, and its profound impact on every student and staff member. We'll explore how these guiding principles connect directly to our student-centered philosophy, ensuring our district's direction truly serves our community.
I'm Dr. Rosanna Mucetti, Superintendent of the Napa Valley Unified School District.
And I'm Dr. Peter Abboud, Executive Director of Research, Data, and Assessment. In this series, we amplify student and staff voices, strengthen community connections, and spotlight strong teaching and learning across our schools, all through the lens of being and becoming future ready. And Rosanna, thank you so much, because today's a really, really special episode because you're actually serving as a guest and I get to interview you about the strategic plan.
Yes.
So let's start with the basics. What exactly is the strategic plan and how does it connect to the broader Vision 2040?
Great, Peter. I'm so glad you're starting out with this fundamental question because I think a lot of community members, parents, employees might even ask why a strategic plan. And the NVUSD strategic plan is our actionable roadmap. And in today's world where there's so many distractions in education, it is important to have a focused roadmap. Specifically, the 2024 to 2029 plan, which is the first 5-year phase designed to achieve our overarching long-term Vision 2040. Vision 2040 is our 15-year aspirational vision. It outlines where we want to be as a district in terms of student outcomes, the staff experience, and system effectiveness overall. The strategic plan then breaks up that long-term vision into concrete, measurable steps for the next 5 years. And it's about turning those aspirations that we have for our students, our educational community, into very tangible, doable actions.
That's so great. So it's not just the theoretical document or a binder on the shelf, as we sometimes call it in education. It really does give us that roadmap. How does the strategic plan directly influence our day-to-day operations? And can you give us some examples of how it translates into action for our students and our staff?
Sure, absolutely. I'd be happy to do that. It's a great question. So the plan includes 15 strategies. The 15 strategies are distinct, each which is dedicated to action plans and teams doing focused work in respective areas. For instance, a few strategies focus on the category of rigorous real-world learning experiences for students. This means our curriculum development, our professional development for teachers, and even the types of projects students might engage in are all intentionally aligned with preparing them for the future. For staff, we have strategies which directly impact their professional learning opportunities, the wellness initiatives, and how we foster a collaborative environment so that teachers are engaging in best practices and principals are developing as instructional leaders. Every department and every school is looking at how their work can contribute to these strategies.
And I really love how everyone is involved in the strategic plan. We thought about everyone in the development of that plan. And so everyone has a role to play in that. And it's not just about one division or one department. It really is this really strong collaborative effort. And it sounds like it just provides a really great framework for the work that we're doing in the district. How does the plan ensure consistency and alignment across all of our schools and all of our programs? Because with 26 schools, there's a lot that could be going on. So how does it kind of focus that work for the organization?
Yep, that is the key benefit. You said the word consistency and alignment. I know we want our 26 schools and our departments, of course, to have some degree of autonomy. We want them to feel agency and empowerment. But at the end of the day, there is strength in numbers. And when the whole system is coming together to benefit students, and we are maximizing and leveraging our resources in a strategic way, then at the end of the day, we'll be able to accomplish more for our students, and we can ensure equity across all of our schools. We can ensure more equity across all of our departments. So By having these overarching strategies, it ensures that while schools have, again, their unique identities, they are all working towards the same core goals. It helps us allocate the resources effectively, identify areas of need and support, and ensure that every student, no matter what school they attend, is benefiting from a very cohesive and high-quality educational experience. It's really about unifying our efforts towards a shared purpose, because we don't want a student who's attending one school, because they're at that school in a system that's more fragmented, is not having access to the same quality of education or educational resources than a student at another school that, for whatever reason, might have those resources. So by using this plan and ensuring that standardization across the district, we're really ensuring effectiveness and excellence for all of our students across the district. And that's really important.
Yeah, and it really ensures that every single student has a high quality experience within our system. So that's so fantastic.
The experience might be different, but we want to ensure that that high quality factor is consistent across our schools.
I love it. So beyond the operational influence, let's talk about the impact that the strategic plan has on every student and staff member. You've already really alluded to this in terms of students and the student-centered philosophy, but can you say more about how the plan really supports that core value that we have?
Sure. So our student-centered philosophy is the very heartbeat of the strategic plan. Every single strategy, from enhancing academic achievement to fostering a culture of belonging, is designed with students at the center. This is showcased through our graduate portrait, and it means we're consistently looking at how to provide comprehensive support systems, academic, social, and emotional, because we know all of those matter, tailored to each student's unique needs. It's about ensuring equity, again, and access for all. And we know that this is an ongoing journey. It's an ongoing journey of continuous improvement.
The work's never done.
No, and we will not. Well, we never have arrived. It's continuous improvement, learning from the field, and continuously thinking about, in our context, with various external factors influencing that context, thinking about how we can maximize those resources, and again, work on creating systems that are tuning to the needs of students when it comes to their academics, their social needs, and their emotional needs in school.
Yeah, and we can't get those results without really qualified staff and employees really doing the important work, because they have such a profound impact on the students. So can you speak to how the strategic plan impacts the staff in the organization so that we can get those outcomes for kids?
Sure. So for staff, the plan, we believe, creates a more supportive ecosystem. It goes back to what I talked about with the student, right? In the past, for example, when our system was more fragmented, certain teachers at a specific school might have access to one level of technology and resources for the classroom, or a curriculum, or even professional development experiences, while employees, staff, faculty at another school may not have had the same access, right? And we do not want to create a system where there are those inequities for staff. So strategies like unifying professional learning, which is strategy 6, one of the 15 again, ensure that our educators have access to the best training and resources to implement the most effective instructional strategies and practices. It also fosters a culture of collaboration and continuous improvement, which I mentioned. When staff feel supported, empowered, and connected to a clearer vision, they are better equipped to provide the best possible learning environment for our students. And that's our belief. And it really reinforces that their well-being and professional growth are integral for students' success. So we want to invest in our employees, because we know that if we have employees who feel like the organization is investing in them, they're more likely to put out their best work for our students. And that's where the impact is.
Yeah, so true, so wonderful. And so the other thing I think that's really important that we talk about when we think about the strategic plan is it was not created in isolation. There was a ton of community input. So can you speak a little bit to that process and how we really made sure that the plan was designed with the community's interests in mind? And when I say community, we're talking parents, we're talking business owners, students, staff, teachers. So can you speak to just how that whole process played out in the development of this plan?
Yeah, it really was an incredible process. I'm really proud of the process that we led in the 23-24 school year. That process was really fundamental. There's the plan itself, but how we got there was something special. The plan, like you said, wasn't developed in isolation. We're very proud of that. It's a direct reflection of the thousands of voices that we heard through student summits, where we had almost over 300 students participate. So a lot of student voice.
Yeah.
Yes. Community meetings and surveys. That ensures that our guiding principles are not just district driven by district administration or the superintendent, alone, but truly community driven, reflecting the aspirations and priorities of our families, students, and staff. Because like you said, we had parents involved, we had students involved, we had faith leaders involved, we had community partners that work with our students and integrate into our school system involved. And it really, when you work that way and you develop a long-term vision, which from there you develop your short-term 5-year strategic plan, it really builds something that's critical, which is trust. We want trust between us and the community that we serve. We want trust between us and all of our employee groups. And it ensures relevance. It makes sure that the plan is relevant to the very people who are going to be impacted by the plan's implementation. And so we're proud of the process, and we think it's created a really great product that is going to ensure that continuous improvement in NVUSD that we're seeking. Well, we're going to shift a little bit. I know I was the guest for most of this
episode. You're going to flip the script on me now?
But we are going to flip the script. You are our co-host. And, I just want to take a moment to explain, Dr. Abboud and I are working closely together in the context of the strategic plan in your role for research data and research data and assessment. We want this plan to make impact. So we're closely monitoring the impact. We've articulated success indicators.
We have.
And so it's critical for us to track data across all of the areas of the organization to ensure the plan's effectiveness. And then when we find areas of ineffectiveness based on the data that we're gathering along the way, then we can make appropriate adjustments so that the plan and the vision can actually fulfill the promise that it made to the community. And I can't do that alone as the superintendent. Someone in the organization who's closely linked to conducting research internally, externally, tracking data and building systems to track data becomes critical if we're going to really take that plan off the shelf and actualize it and make it real. So I'm so grateful that we have this collaboration in our work where you're so involved. And so that's part of the reason you're co-hosting, because so much of what we're going to talk about is about the implementation of the plan and topics that are related to the impact it's having on students and staff. So with that, Peter, as we look to the future, how will NVUSD track progress and ensure that we're achieving the goals outlined in this very ambitious strategic plan?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. You really already alluded to this in the sense that we don't want to have a plan that we're just executing on and we don't know what's working or not working. If we want to get results for kids, we need to be really closely monitoring that. And I also just want to emphasize how unique that is to education. I know that that kind of work doesn't happen everywhere, but we really have some strong systems in place that we've developed really starting last year when we launched the strategic plan and continuing into this year. So as you mentioned, we have the 15 strategies. We have 19 success indicators, and many of them are tied to indicators that folks in the community probably already know about. Results on our CASP data, which is our standardized assessments for English and math that the state requires us to, and science, that's right, that requires us to, that we're required to give every year. Also are things like suspension rates, things like what's considered college and career readiness. Those are all things that were evaluated on by the state. So many of those indicators are part of our strategic plan indicators. In addition to some others that we've really thought about, things like employee satisfaction with professional learning. And so we want to measure all of those things. And so what we do is we have these dashboards built out that monitor that progress on an annual basis. And we have an annual benchmark survey that gets sent out to multiple stakeholders to collect data on that, on some of those indicators. And we really build those all into this centralized dashboard. And all of our strategy leads who are responsible for executing on the work of the 15 strategies all know which of the 19 indicators they impact. And they're able to monitor that progress over time with the support of my team centrally and our communications department, which is also supporting the collection of some of this data. But more importantly, moving into this year, our strategy leads will be looking at those indicators and figuring out and thinking about how they can progress monitor that work on an even more of an ongoing basis, so they can keep an eye on their work and that impact. And so we're going to really constantly be going back to those dashboards, looking at that data on a regular basis, and supporting strategy leads and making those adjustments, because we don't want to wait until the California dashboard comes out with a number. We want to be able to progress monitor that and make sure that we're taking the steps forward. And we're already seeing some improvements in a lot of indicators just based on some of the preliminary data from the end of this last school year. So we're very excited about the results we're already seeing within 1 year of work.
That's great. Well, we're so grateful that we have the talent of you and your staff to monitor our progress. Our progress is transparent. We want to make it easy to access. We want to hold ourselves accountable in those commitments and promises that we made to the community through that community-driven process when we develop the plan. In fact, anyone can visit NVUSD.org and find our progress dashboard. It's truly about shaping a future of excellence and opportunity for all, one goal and one action at a time. We don't promise that we have everything figured out, but we do promise that we're holding ourselves accountable to monitoring our impact. And when we don't see the impact in progress, we're willing to reflect, revise our work, and adjust. Because at the end of the day, this is about students and continuously trying to improve the quality of their educational experience here in NVUSD. So I am so grateful that we've got systems in place to monitor our impact over the next few years.
Very exciting. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Great. So thank you for joining us in this deep dive into NVUSD's strategic plan. We hope that this episode has provided a clearer understanding of how we're shaping our future one goal at a time, always with our students at the forefront.
We look forward to sharing more valuable insights with you on future episodes of the NVUSD Future in Focus podcast. Join us next month as we hear from an NVUSD alum as he shares his experience and the lessons learned while in the Napa Valley Unified School District.
Until next time, keep being future ready.